Welcome to My Life in Israel podcast, news updates from Israel, where I report brief news updates about the Israel Gaza war and Israeli politics with added commentary so you have a better understanding of what's going on here in Israel that you won't hear from mainstream news. And here are today's news updates for April 11th, 2025. Israel warns Turkey, no military bases in Syria. As de-escalation talks begin in Azerbaijan, Israel monitoring Hamas-ISIS-Syria cooperation while reassuring DRUZE non-aggression policy. Joint counterterrorism forces from the IDF, ISA, and Israel police carried out a successful operation in Nablus, Judea and Samaria, resulting in the arrest of 2 terrorists, one of whom is a senior operative formerly tied to the dismantled Lion's Den terrorist network. The Israel Police's elite Lahav 433 Gideonim unit, in coordination with the IDF and ISA, apprehended Mohammed Bana, a high-ranking terrorist who was actively involved in previous shooting and explosive attacks targeting Israeli forces. He was caught armed with an M16 rifle and a spray grenade. During his arrest, he attempted to flee and was shot in the leg. Simultaneously, IDF Duvan soldiers operating under ISA intelligence arrested Khalil Khanbali, who was wanted for multiple terrorist offenses, including attacks on IDF soldiers and serving as a primary weapons supplier. Weapons were discovered in his possession at the time of arrest. All seized weapons and the detained terrorists have been transferred to Israeli security authorities for further investigation. Palestinian arson has become a key weapon in the ongoing terrorist assault on Jewish life in Judea and Samaria. Security officials report that more than 1,000 fires have been battled in recent months, causing significant damage to farmlands and nature reserves. Israel 365 Action is actively supporting farmers whose fields have been destroyed and equipping vulnerable communities with vital security resources. I want to say something about this. The pro-Palestinian narrative is that the settlers are doing this to Palestinian lands when it's literally the opposite. And you want to say, and the Palestinians want to claim that this is their land, and they do nothing but destroy it. So explain that one. If this was really their land and they really cared about it, why would they want to destroy it when it's the Jews that are the ones that are constantly planting trees, and it's the Palestinians who are constantly destroying them and they uproot them. So, make sense, people. A first technical meeting between Turkey and Israel was held in Azerbaijan to discuss establishing a de-escalation mechanism aimed at preventing unintended military incidents in Syria, according to the Turkish Defense Ministry. An Israeli political source told Israeli Army Radio, "We made it clear to Turkey and Azerbaijan that establishing military bases in Syria is a red line." An Israeli security source echoed this to Sky News Arabia, emphasizing that we do not want to see Turkish forces on the Golan Heights border. The source added that while the IDF has not yet received direct orders to act, there are standing instructions to respond to any Turkish military activity or presence in southern Syria. An Israeli security source told Sky News Arabia that Israel is closely watching signs of cooperation between Hamas, ISIS, and groups operating in southern Syria. However, the official emphasized, "We cannot confirm that Iran is behind them." Regarding the Druze population, the same security source stated, "If the Druze establish their own force, we will not act against them, and if another force attacks them, we will defend them. We are confident that the Druze will not attack Israel." Yeah, the Druze are supportive of Israel. There are Druze here in Israel that actively join the IDF. They are proud Israelis and they support the state of Israel. There are Druze in Syria who have actually voiced support to want to be part of Israel. And Israel is actively supporting the Druze in Syria. And the Druze in Syria are attacked by the other groups in Syria because they are not considered Islamic. They have their own offshoot of Islam that they follow, and this is why they are more supportive to Israel, and we are going to support them. Okay, going on. IDF continues ground operations in Gaza, eliminates terrorists, and dismantles infrastructure. IDF troops are maintaining their ground operations in the Gaza Strip, focusing on dismantling terrorist infrastructure and eliminating active threats. In Rafah and along the Morag corridor, IDF forces eliminated several terrorists and uncovered multiple terrorist sites. Efforts are ongoing to strengthen operational control in the region. In northern Gaza, troops continue to clear terrorist infrastructure. Several terrorists were eliminated and structures used in terror activity were dismantled. Operations in the Tel al-Sultan and Shabura areas of Rafah led to the discovery and destruction of dozens of terror infrastructure sites, including tunnel shafts connected to underground networks. Over the last 24 hours, the Israeli Air Force struck around 35 targets across the Gaza Strip. These included sniper and observation posts, terrorists, and various terror infrastructure sites that posed immediate threats. Joint IDF and ISA forces successfully eliminated Haitham Razek Abad al-Karim Sheikh Khalil, the commander of Hamas's Shajaya battalion, in a precise airstrike targeting a Hamas command and control center near IDF troops in Gaza City. Khalil was directly involved in the October 7th massacre and led the infiltration into Nahal Oz. He also planned and executed numerous attacks against IDF soldiers during the ongoing war, including planting explosives and booby-trapping combat zones. Previously, he served as a Nukba platoon commander and led Hamas's tunnel operations. After the eliminations of previous battalion commanders, Jamil Wadia and Fahim Farhat, Khalil assumed command of the Sajaya battalion. The strike was carried out with precise munitions backed by aerial surveillance and intelligence to minimize civilian harm. Hamas continues to violate international law by operating within civilian infrastructure and using civilians as human shields. Okay, yeah, this is pretty straightforward, people. Like, I don't understand how the other side has anything to say about any of this, except for they want to claim that their freedom fighters are justified in doing anything, irregardless of international law, and yet this is clearly going against international law. And then they want to hold Israel to international law. So again, hypocrites, and make it make sense. Okay. Air Force says more hostage deal ups and downs. Okay. IDF Air Force Commander says Air Force Commander Major General Tomer Bar decided, with the full backing of Chief of Staff Ayal Zamir, that any serviceman who signed the letter published this morning that I went over yesterday, stating that the war is not okay, will not be able to continue serving in the IDF and will be dismissed from the IDF immediately and permanently. The IDF cannot accept a situation in which active service members sign a letter expressing lack of confidence in the IDF. Oops. A detail in the new letter from refuseniks is their average age, past retirement age, important because it emphasizes the public manipulation of the act. Only 60 out of supposedly 1,000 names are active reservists and only a handful of pilots. Yeah, so again, I talked about this yesterday. These are old, retired, former service members who are trying to act like they have any say or influence on the situation, and it's politically and propaganda motivated to cause division within Israel and to give our enemies confidence to continue fighting, basically. And again, they're only stating that a small portion of the people that signed this letter are active service members, and they will be dealt with and released from service, because that's basically not acceptable. You can't sit there and serve in the IDF and then say you're against the IDF doing what they need to do. Okay. Knesset MKs getting threatening letters. Advised by Knesset security not to open them, possibly toxic. Reports of at least 4 such envelopes received. Yeah, they mentioned this. It's weird. I don't know where they're coming from. I just read this yesterday. Yeah, somebody's trying to threaten some of our MKs. money smuggling Turkey to Hamas. The Israel police and the Shin Bet have uncovered a terrorist financial network based on Israeli citizens who transferred millions of shekels originating from Hamas in Turkey to Judea and Samaria in support of terrorist activity against Israel. Caught, arrested, indicted. Yeah, I don't know who these people are. I'm assuming that they would be Arab Israelis, but that's not always could be the case. It's interesting to find out who these people are who are collaborating with our enemies. Again, if they're caught and arrested and indicted, I hope they're charged with some kind of treason and executed for their offenses. About October 7th and IDF readiness, Brigade Commander in the Gaza Strip, Colonel Cohen, ended his service today and dropped a bombshell in his farewell speech. A month and a half before the situation, meaning October 7th invasion and massacre, I recommended a preemptive strike. The commander said that Hamas was deterred. This is my way, the commanders, of achieving benefits. We don't want another round. To fire at a Hamas position point blank at 300 meters, I needed the approval of the chief of staff. See, this is about, okay, you guys all have these conspiracy theories about, Israel wanted October 7th to happen. This is not really the case. I have not seen any proof that they have actively said we want this to happen. Everything points to people just blatantly ignoring any warnings that they got because they were convinced that Hamas was, quote unquote, deterred, that Hamas didn't want to start anything, and that somehow the people making these warnings and saying that there was something about to happen were just baseless and wanting to cause trouble. So I don't know if that's, it still doesn't seem right to me, but this is what this is referred to as the previous conception about how to handle Hamas before October 7th. And this is what we're trying to change. And this is why the current coalition, the current government is trying to change the people at the head of the IDF and the security services, is because we need to get rid of these people that had this conception and somehow are still not changing their conception of how to handle the situation with terror in Gaza and Judea and Samaria. So this is what this is all about. High Court rejects a petition demanding the restoration of electricity to the Gaza Strip. Well, thank you, High Court, for something. I don't know who's putting through these petitions. These petitions are coming from groups that are funded from outside Israel. And somehow we have lawyers or people here in Israel who are willing to submit them on behalf of these outside entities. It's disgusting and shouldn't be allowed to happen, but it does. And so for once, the High Court is doing something right and not allowing the restoration of electricity to the Gaza Strip, when it's not even their place to say whether or not to restore electricity to the Gaza Strip. The Gaza Strip is not part of Israel, okay? It's a separate thing. We are not, sovereign in control of the Gaza Strip yet, but it's not the High Court's place to do anything. It's not their jurisdiction. I don't even understand. This is why we need justice reform in this country. This is it right here. Okay, moving on. Lebanon. Lebanese sources report that UNIFIL has instructed the Lebanese army to evacuate the village of Eta al-Sha'ab in southern Lebanon because Israel intends to attack the village. Okay, so I don't know why UNIFIL has instructed the Lebanese army. I don't know. That's just what it is. Subsequent reports of IDF attacks. On hostage deals, Hamas says. A senior Hamas official told the Al-Quds newspaper this morning, "We have not received any new proposals regarding the ceasefire in Gaza, not from the Qatari mediators, nor from the Egyptians, nor from any other source." In parentheses, we literally have opposing reports released day after day. Yeah, this is the constant going back and forth with, these political leaks that come out about these deals. the Americans say something, Hamas says something, Qatar says something different, Egypt says something different. Like, everybody says something different every single day. Like, you can't really understand what's really going on from day to day. They give different messages all the time. Israeli sources. Okay, from our Israeli sources, serious proposals are now being formulated between the U.S. and Egypt that are approaching what Israel is willing to agree to, both in terms of the number of live hostages that will be released and the number of terrorists that will be released in exchange. A cabinet source says this concerns the release of more than 5 live hostages. Okay, here again. Trump, we are getting closer to returning the hostages. Hamas is a disgusting organization. See, again, every day it's something different. You have no idea what's really going on behind the scenes. Okay. IDF raises alert level and deploys extra combat forces to secure Passover celebrations nationwide. 11 terrorists who infiltrated Israel on October 7th and took part in the massacre have been eliminated by IDF and ISA. The IDF and ISA have eliminated 11 terrorists who infiltrated Israeli territory and participated in the brutal October 7th massacre. These operations were conducted under the Southern Command in coordination with the Intelligence Directorate and the IAF, and resumed in the Gaza Strip on Tuesday, March 18, 2025. The eliminated terrorists include Hassan Naam, responsible for abducting Sergeant Shaked Dahan; Ishmael Sheikh murdered Israeli civilians, threw grenades at the Re'im Junction shelter, and fired a man-portable missile inside Israeli territory. Jalal Karahan murdered Inbar Haiman, infiltrated the Novo Music Festival and military bases, killed 2 civilians, and spread footage of the killings online. Mohammed Isa infiltrated Mefalsim and participated in the massacre. Muhammad Shabki, Faras Kreshin, Yahya Astal, Muhammad Zakir, and Muhammad Astal all infiltrated Israeli territory and took part in the massacre on October 7th. Additionally, 2 key terrorists were eliminated and targeted IDF and ISA strikes prior to the latest operations. Mohammed al-Safur participated in the attack on the Southern Gaza Brigade's command post and abducted soldiers. Khalid al-Din, involved in the murder of Israeli civilians during the massacre. The IDF and ISA reaffirmed their commitment to relentlessly pursue all involved in the October 7th atrocities. Okay, yeah, you guys, you have no idea. The IDF, Israel, knows exactly who these people are, every single one who participated in October 7th. And we are determined to go after every single one. And our intelligence is astounding. Our military intelligence and security intelligence is astounding. And you would think that our enemies would be more afraid because they should know we know what they're doing. Again, when you think about what happened on October 7th and our failures, our intelligence failures, it belies logic, how we didn't, we should have known and we should have done something. And this is why we're trying to change the leadership in our intelligence and military leadership, because it should never have happened. Because we have all this intelligence constantly. We know all these people that are doing these things. And yet, anyway, okay. IDF preparations for Passover. In preparation for the upcoming holiday, Chief of the General Staff, Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir, conducted a comprehensive situational assessment and stressed the importance of vigilance and operational readiness. His directive aims to ensure that Israeli civilians can celebrate Passover safely across the country. As a result, the IDF has raised its alert level and increased the deployment of combat forces across multiple sectors during the holiday period. Reinforced security measures have also been put in place to protect IDF bases. The overall goal is to maintain security and stability throughout Passover. Yeah, so like I said, we're finally learning that we need to update our guidelines and preparations always around our holidays to protect our citizens so that our citizens can enjoy our holidays. Okay. 80,000 travelers passed through Ben Gurion Airport today, marking the busiest day in 18 months since the October 7th massacre. Of those, 28,000 were departures and 52,000 were incoming tourists. Over 500 flights operated by nearly 50 different carriers took off or landed, signaling a strong resurgence in tourism to Israel. Yay, that's really good news. That's really good news. You guys want to say like all these people are leaving, nobody's coming. Yeah, tourism seems like it's coming back. So yay for that. Senior Israeli officials told the Jerusalem Post there is a real danger that U.S. President Trump could agree to a mediocre nuclear deal with Iran. We are deeply concerned that the president may circumscribe the IDF's current unique opportunity to strike Iran. Another source stated that the U.S. discussions have reportedly begun regarding potential military targets inside Iran. These include nuclear enrichment sites, main nuclear facilities, and locations tied to ballistic missile and drone production, either for Israeli or U.S. operational plans. Yeah, so I don't know about that. I talked about that earlier, that Israel may have to do this all on their own, strike Iran. The United States has reportedly informed Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and other Gulf nations to halt any financial support to Lebanon for now. The directive is tied to unresolved issues surrounding the Iran file, particularly the demand for Hezbollah's disarmament. This was reported by Al Akbar, citing Arab diplomatic sources. So yeah, they're trying to get our supposed other allies to stop funding inadvertently Lebanon and Hezbollah support. So that's what that's all about. Okay, there was a video up here that I want to play. This is showing the IDF strikes against these terrorists. The elimination of these terrorists. And they seem to be all aerial strikes. Okay, on to the next news item. Okay, Shabbat and Passover, threatening letters, U.S.-Iran negotiations. Okay. Opposition MK Meir Cohen of Yesh Atid. The moment will come when we will have to establish an alternate Knesset. They're in the opposition. What else are they going to say? They've been saying that for I don't know how long the current Knesset has been in power. These 2 years? Threatening letter. The threatening letters against Knesset members, MKs Ariel Kellner, Yaakov Asher, and Svika Fogel also received threatening letters. Total count is up to 20 MKs. Police and hazardous materials handling teams dealt with one at MK Kellner's home yesterday. MK Kellner, my entire building was evacuated in the morning. This is an attempt to spread terror and terror. The Shin Bet, who is responsible for this type of thing, is not dealing with the envelope incidents. Okay, so I was just talking about MKs are getting these apparent envelopes in the mail with threatening and with some kind of substance that may be toxic. And the police have to be called in, and hazmat teams have to come in and check everything. So, but it doesn't seem like they found anything hazardous. They're not saying if they found anything. It's just a procedure that they have to keep doing. Israel negotiating with Turkey. Yesterday, a meeting was held between representatives from Israel and Turkey and Azerbaijan, who is friendly with both, in which Israel made it clear unequivocally that any change in the deployment of foreign forces in Syria, and in particular the establishment of Turkish bases in the Palmyra area, is a red line and will be considered a breach of trust. Israel has already made it clear in the past that preventing this threat is the responsibility of the government in Damascus. Yeah, but they seem to be willing to do it. They're not doing it. Gaza evac order. The IDF issues an evacuation warning for Palestinians residing in some areas of eastern Gaza City, includes the neighborhoods of Shajaya, Zaytun, and Tufa, as the IDF will operate with great force there soon. See, we give them plenty of time to leave. So instead of 50-some thousand casualties that are not the total correct number of casualties, it could be hundreds of thousands of casualties if we did not do what we're doing and telling people to evacuate. So there you go. Hostage deal. Families of hostages who met with American officials in the past 24 hours. They expressed optimism for a breakthrough in the coming days. They always do that. The Americans, political, always have optimistic views about a breakthrough of hostage deal. They just want to be optimistic and say that they're doing something, but it's not normally the case that anything's being done. U.S. negotiations with Iran to start this Saturday. U.S. official, the meeting with the Iranians on Saturday will prove whether Tehran is serious or not. Well, they've been saying that for days now. Okay, going on. Kindergarten and school used as cover. IDF uncovers and destroys Hamas terror tunnel in Rafah. IDF eliminates Hamas sniper commander in Rafah. Strikes 40 terror targets across Gaza Strip. Over the past week, IDF troops from the elite Golani Brigade have been operating in the Rafah area of southern Gaza as part of a broader mission to locate and neutralize Hamas terrorist infrastructure. During their latest operation, soldiers uncovered a significant terror tunnel shaft belonging to the Hamas terrorist organization, shockingly located within a compound that previously served as a kindergarten. Just 100 meters away stood another compound that once operated as a civilian school. No, it's not shocking. No, it's not shocking. Every single school has been used by Hamas. So no, that's not shocking. Combat engineers from the IDF's Yahalom unit, a specialized unit focused on underground warfare and explosives, conducted an in-depth examination of the tunnel. Their investigation revealed that the shaft led to a complex and booby-trapped underground route that stretched for dozens of meters. This route was directly connected to a central tunnel system used by Hamas for terrorist activity, such as transporting weapons, fighters, and potentially launching attacks against Israeli forces or civilians. Following the discovery, IDF forces acted swiftly to dismantle both the shaft and underground passage. The military stressed that Hamas's repeated use of civilian infrastructure, especially schools and kindergartens, to conceal its terror operations is a blatant violation of international law. This tactic endangers innocent Palestinian civilians and reflects Hamas's ongoing strategy of using the population as human shields to shield itself from legitimate military responses. The IDF reiterated its firm stance. The IDF will continue to operate with strength and determination against terrorist organizations. Over the past several days, Israeli security forces have intensified ground and aerial operations against Hamas strongholds in southern Gaza. In a joint mission, the IDF and ISA conducted a targeted elimination of Ahmed Ayad Mohammed Farhat, the senior Hamas commander responsible for sniper operations in the Tel al-Sultan battalion. Farhat played a key role in planning and executing deadly sniper attacks on Israeli troops and was involved in broader terrorist activities targeting the state of Israel. IDF troops are actively continuing their ground campaign in the Tel al-Sultan neighborhood and the nearby Shabura area. In just the past 24 hours, Israeli forces have eliminated multiple terrorists, dismantled extensive terror infrastructure, and neutralized booby-trapped buildings designed to inflict casualties on advancing troops. Overnight, operations expanded into the Morag corridor, a strategic zone where IDF units carried out a deep incursion, neutralizing both surface and underground terrorist infrastructure and eliminating armed operatives entrenched in the area. In northern Gaza, IDF forces identified and dismantled a network of terrorist infrastructures. During the mission, soldiers spotted several armed terrorists operating from an adjacent building. These operatives were immediately targeted and killed by precision tank fire. Meanwhile, the Israeli Air Force continues to provide critical support to ground forces. Over the past day, the IAF has struck around 40 Hamas-related targets across the Gaza Strip. These include active terrorist cells, buildings used for terror operations, weapons storage facilities, and key infrastructure sites aiding Hamas activities. Oh, man, this is a lot today. Okay, and then this is a video of the IDF showing the tunnel shaft located in the yard of a classroom. Here's the yard where it slides here, and there's a terror cell. The terror tunnel shaft is located right in the middle. And there's the tunnel. Okay. See, we're not making this shit up here, people. It's in a kindergarten, in a school, with kids. Okay. IDF deploys 6 additional companies to Judea and Samaria ahead of Passover, arrests 85 suspects, and demolishes homes of terrorists. As part of heightened security preparations for the Passover holiday, the IDF reinforced its Judea and Samaria division with 6 additional companies to operate during the holiday and the intermediate days. Over the past week, Israeli security forces carried out nightly operations and 3 brigade-level missions across Judea and Samaria, arresting approximately 85 wanted individuals and confiscating numerous weapons. Forces conducted key operations in Balata, Samaria Brigade, and Tubas, Manasseh Brigade, in targeting terrorism hubs in northern Judea and Samaria, resulting in dozens of arrests. In addition, security forces demolished the home of the terrorist who murdered Staff Sergeant Eli David Grampinkle in an attack at the T-Junction, I think it's Tapua Junction. The house was located in the village of Deir Ibzi under the Binyamin Brigade. In Tulkarm, the home of terrorist Mohammed Shakur was also demolished. Shakur was involved in the attack at the Bet Lid Junction, where Staff Sergeant Reserve Elhanan Ariel Klein was killed. The IDF stated that security forces will continue both defensive and offensive operations to ensure the safety of Israeli citizens and residents. Okay, and this is the video showing them doing counterterrorism in Judea and Samaria. According to Regavim, over 90,000 illegal Palestinian structures have been erected in Area C, with a clear intention of strategically fragmenting settlement blocks. That means Jewish Israeli settlement blocks. This tactic is designed to undermine Israel's future territorial integrity and block secure, contiguous Jewish presence in Judea and Samaria. To combat this, Israel 365 Action has launched a tree planting initiative that creates a physical presence on the ground, helping secure vulnerable and contested areas from illegal land grabs. Okay, so yeah, this is, you guys want to say that Israel is illegally building on quote-unquote Palestinian land or whatever, but according to international law, we have the right in Area C to build. And we have the say over who can and cannot build in this area. So if the Palestinians don't have our authority to build, it's considered illegal, and we have the right to dismantle whatever they built. So this is the contested part of the West Bank that everybody wants to talk about. So we try to combat that by planting trees. This is what it is. IDF spokesperson for the Arab media, Avihai Adre, issued a clear warning to residents in Kirbat Kuzaa, Abbasan al-Gabira, and Abbasan al-Jadida within the Gaza Strip. The IDF has launched a powerful attack to destroy the capabilities of terrorist organizations. This area is considered a dangerous combat zone. For your safety, you must evacuate immediately to the known shelters in Han Yunis. Remaining in shelters, homes, or tents endangers your life and the lives of your family members. Evacuate the area immediately. Okay? So if the people want to complain that they have to keep moving from place to place to place, blame Hamas. Hamas is the one who we're going after, and we're telling the people in these areas, this is for your own safety. So if you want to live, quit complaining. That's all I have to say about that. Over the past week, the Israeli Air Force took part in an international aerial combat exercise, Inokos, hosted by the Hellenic Air Force in Greece. The drill brought together dozens of aircraft and military units from several allied nations. IAF's 122nd Squadron, which operates the ITOM G550 aircraft, represented Israel in this strategic exercise. Pilots and air crews trained together in a wide array of scenarios, including dogfights, air-to-surface attacks, responses to advanced surface-to-air missile threats, and other real-time combat situations. The goal of the exercise was to boost operational readiness, foster strategic cooperation between participating countries, and challenge forces with unfamiliar flight environments and evolving aerial threats. Okay. I can't see, Greece is not doing anything to help Israel fight in Gaza or the West Bank. I don't know. If anything, we would be helping Greece. So I guess that's all I have to say about that. And that's it, people. This is a long one. There's a big holiday, Passover, Pesach week coming up. I'm probably not going to be doing these daily news items anymore during the holiday. So until then, stay tuned, and we'll have to catch up after the holiday. Thanks for listening to My Life in Israel podcast. Follow me on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for non-podcast videos. If you enjoyed the podcast, like, share, comment, and follow me on Spotify and other podcast apps so you never miss another episode. Support my work and support Israel by making a one-time or monthly donation or become a subscriber to get access to exclusive content. The links are in my profile and description. And stay tuned because I have a lot more to say. Am Israel High.